If you see Olivia Rodrigo get him back music video, there's this really cool duplicate effect, and I want to try to recreate it. There's a few reasons why this duplicate effect is a lot harder than other duplicate effects you've seen where there's multiple of one person in a frame, and that comes with one key thing: camera movement. That makes it really hard. The average duplicate effect really only has 2 shots in it. You have 2 different shots of the same location, not moving the camera at all, but you have the actor in 2 separate places. So you just have them act in those specific areas, but you don't want them to overlap. And then you just take those 2 shots and then mask in an area where neither of the 2 kind of go to into the shot, and there you go, you have a basic duplicate effect. But then we look at the Get It Back music video, which is where things get a lot harder. I'm assuming that they use a motion control rig in order to create the effect, because when you have a moving camera, you need to be able to have the camera go at the exact same spot multiple times in order to get the effect to line up correctly, which makes it very hard for someone who doesn't have thousands of dollars to do. But I have a few ideas as to how we can approach this. My first idea was using a drone, and I thought that that would actually be pretty simple. You could just set the GPS coordinates that you want the drone to fly from, and then it would just fly on like a pre-turned route, and then you just have to do a bit of masking work to get it all the characters and puzzle pieces to fit together. But apparently the drone only lets you do the waypoints or GPS coordinate flying in a hyperlapse mode and not in a video mode. So that solution probably won't work the best. So now I'm down to my second idea. Let's try this. Yeah, so the idea with this drone test is to get it up at a very high, well, not very high angle, but a high angle that then there are a few different areas where I can stand, and then hopefully create some like artificial movement that looks somewhat decent. So the goal here is to create something that looks halfway decent, or hopefully looks good. Hi, buddy. It's time to try the flight test. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Well, you might be wondering why the drone wouldn't work, and I thought it was gonna work perfectly. It did not. So, as I was flying up there, even on the first test flight, it wasn't staying in a specific position. It was kind of wobbling back and forth, and if you want something to be in a specific position, that doesn't work so well. I need something that stays a lot more steady. So, on to option number 3. So for option number 3, I'm using this DJI pocket camera, and for one reason specifically. It has a wide-angle lens, and we need this angle as wide as we can get it, so then there's a possibility that it can be zoomed in and hopefully the quality still looks okay. I also have this thing on a very tall tripod. Okay, I think I'm actually pretty happy with this wide angle. The wide angle lens gives it so much more space here than the other camera, so I think we're good to go for a test run. I think I'm gonna start on the do I love them, do I hate them, and have one shot for that part leading up to the chorus, and then one more close-in static shot of the chorus. Okay, I don't want to touch the camera because then it could cause it to get wobbly, so I'm just gonna shoot a few different characters throughout the space that could possibly be integrated into the video. Alright, I think I've gotten everything for shot 1, the wide open angle, So next is for shot 2, the kind of close-up angle. Okay, so this spot is for the chorus, and this one is gonna be a little harder because I'm gonna have someone here and someone here, and we cannot cross paths per se. We'll see about that, because in the music video there's one really cool shot where someone throws something from the back and it kind of goes to the front, and I think that would be really cool to incorporate. But it's very important to try to keep in these squares as much as possible, not to cross too much, because then masking gets a little bit more complicated. It's possible, it's definitely possible, but complication. Editing. Well, it is now time to start the edit, which I am very curious to see how it all looks. I'm going to use Final Cut Pro, and hopefully I can do all this masking. This is the start of the editing. This is the main plate right here, the one in the center. And then on this one, I've created a mask around, so if I plate that, you see they kind of intersect. They intersect right here, so I'm going to have to animate these control points to move as the main me gets closer. But it is a good start, and it's kind of going to be similar for all of the other characters. All 3 of these have been masked out together, so if I go to this, well, each of these have a mask around them so that they are all together. And for the main layer, or the main person that like walks across, I think I'm going to have to utilize Premiere Pro and try the free trial of that, because it is going to be very time consuming masking out the person walking in front. I might try it in Final Cut Pro, but it'll be a lot easier if I can just have that done automatically. I was thinking possibly of adding some motion where it kind of tracks with the main person walking across, just to add another level to that, but these 3 are all together and I think it looks pretty good so far.
So the video is done and you will see it in a few seconds. It just has some random audio behind it. Can't play the actual song because of copyright, but if you want to see it with the actual song, I have uploaded it as a short and possibly as just a full regular size video. But those are both linked in the description, so check that out if you want. And just thanks for watching.